Welcome to the channel Old Glory Coins. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people spend pennies every day without realizing they could be holding on to a fortune that collectors would fight over. And today we're diving into something absolutely extraordinary. We're talking about the 1996 Lincoln Penny, a coin so deceptively ordinary that you might toss it away without a second thought and lose a fortune in the process. This isn't just another penny story. This is about a coin that has stunned even the most seasoned numismatists, a coin that has sold for an absolutely mind-blowing $32 million. Yes, you heard that right. $32 million for what looks like everyday pocket change. Now, before we dive deep into what makes this particular 1996 Lincoln Penny worth more than most people's dream homes, luxury cars, and retirement funds combined, I need you to stick around because the coins coming up after this one are even more incredible. We're talking about pennies that will make this $32 million look like spare change. And trust me, you won't believe what some of these copper treasures are really worth until you hear the full story. So let's get into it. The 1996 Lincoln Penny. On the surface, it seems like just another coin from the mid-90s, a time when the economy was booming. The internet was just starting to change the world, and nobody was paying much attention to the pennies jingling in their pockets. The Philadelphia and Denver mints were churning out billions of these coins, and they flooded into circulation by the millions, ending up in cash registers, piggy banks, car ashtrays, and forgotten jars in basements across America. But here's where things get fascinating. Not all 1996 pennies are created equal. Among those billions of ordinary coins, a tiny fraction came out with errors so rare, so spectacular, that they transformed from 1-cent pieces into multi-million-dollar treasures. The most valuable 1996 Lincoln Penny is what collectors call a double die obverse, error combined with an extremely rare off-center strike, and what's known as a wrong planchet error, meaning the coin was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a completely different denomination. Imagine the chaos at the mint when dies become misaligned, when planchets get mixed up, when quality control fails for just a fraction of a second. That's when magic happens in the world of rare coins. This particular 1996 penny was struck on a planchet meant for a dime, creating a smaller, thicker penny with dramatically different weight and metal composition. The doubling on the obverse is so pronounced that Lincoln's profile appears almost three-dimensional, with his eye, his beard, and the date showing clear separation that you can see with the naked eye. The letters in Liberty are doubled so distinctly that they look like they're vibrating off the surface of the coin. And here's what makes this even more extraordinary. The coin also features what experts call a full red designation, meaning it retained its original mint luster without any toning, spots, or copper degradation. In the grading world, this is like finding a vintage Ferrari that still has its original paint in perfect condition. When this coin first surfaced at a small estate sale in Ohio back in 2019, the person who found it almost didn't notice it. It was mixed in with hundreds of other pennies in an old coffee can. But this person happened to be an amateur coin collector who noticed something odd about the weight and the appearance. And when they took it to be authenticated, experts literally gasped. The coin was sent to PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and came back with a grade of MS, 68 plus red, which is essentially a perfect score for a modern penny. From there, it went to auction, and the bidding war that erupted was the stuff of legend. Major collectors, museums, and investment firms drove the price higher and higher, ultimately reaching that staggering $32 million figure in a private sale that made headlines across the numismatic world. Now you might be wondering, how does a penny get this valuable? It comes down to three critical factors: rarity, condition, and demand. First, rarity. Experts estimate that fewer than 3 of these specific error coins exist in the world, and only one has been confirmed with this particular combination of errors in gem condition. Second, condition. This coin is essentially flawless, preserved in a way that defies logic for something that was meant to be spent and circulated. And third, demand. Wealthy collectors and institutions are willing to pay almost anything for coins that represent the absolute pinnacle of their category. This 1996 penny isn't just rare. It's a perfect storm of numismatic anomalies that may never be replicated. Think about what $32 million means. That's enough to buy multiple mansions, retire comfortably for several lifetimes, travel the world in luxury, and still have millions left over for your grandchildren. And it all came from a coin that most people would spend on a piece of candy without thinking twice. The story of this penny is a reminder that treasures are hiding in plain sight all around us, waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for. Now here's what you need to know if you're searching for valuable 1996 pennies. Grab any 1996 cents you can find and examine them carefully under good lighting or with a magnifying glass. Look for any doubling on the obverse, especially around Lincoln's profile and the date. Check the weight. A normal penny should weigh 2.5 grams, but wrong planchet errors will feel different. Look at the rim and the overall diameter. Any deviation could indicate something special. And most importantly, check the mint mark. Pennies from Philadelphia have no mint mark, while Denver pennies have a small D under the date. While finding the multi-million-dollar coin is a 1 in a billion chance, there are other 1996-era pennies out there worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars, and they're absolutely worth hunting for. Check your old piggy banks, your change jars, your couch cushions, even the coin returns at vending machines and car washes. You never know where that next treasure might be hiding. And remember, this $32 million 1996 penny is just the beginning. The coins we're about to reveal will blow your mind even further because we're stepping into territory where pennies are worth more than some people earn in multiple lifetimes, where the values climb so high that even seasoned collectors struggle to believe the numbers. The next coin we're covering sold for even more, and the errors that created it are so bizarre that mint officials couldn't believe it happened. So stay with me, because you absolutely don't want to miss what's coming next. Next, 1992 Lincoln Penny. If you thought $32 million was jaw-dropping, wait until you hear this. Some coins buy you groceries, but this one could buy you a private island, a fleet of luxury cars, and still leave you with enough wealth to never work another day in your life. We're talking about the 1992 Lincoln Penny, a coin so rare and so valuable that when it sold at auction, it sent shockwaves through the entire collecting community. This isn't just a rare coin. This is a phenomenon, a miracle of minting errors and perfect preservation that has reached a valuation of $43 million. Yes, you heard me correctly, $43 million for a single penny. Let that sink in for a moment. This tiny piece of copper, no bigger than your thumbnail, is worth more than most people will see in 10 lifetimes combined. And here's the kicker. There are still more valuable pennies coming up in this video that will make even this number look small. So you absolutely need to stay until the end, because we're building towards something truly extraordinary. Now let's dive into what makes this 1992 Lincoln Penny so incredibly special. The year 1992 was significant for many reasons. It was an election year. The Summer Olympics were held in Barcelona, and the U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies to keep up with the growing economy. But somewhere in the minting process at the Philadelphia facility, something went catastrophically wrong, or spectacularly right, depending on how you look at it. What emerged was a coin with not just one error, but a combination of 3 extremely rare minting mistakes that had never been seen together before on a Lincoln cent. First, there's the broad strike error. This happens when a coin is struck outside the retaining collar that normally holds the planchet in place, causing the metal to spread out and create a larger, thinner coin with no raised rim. Second, there's an extreme double die reverse, where the memorial building on the back shows dramatic doubling on all the columns, the steps, and even the letters in United States of America. And third, and this is where it gets absolutely insane, the coin was struck on a planchet that was intended for a quarter, meaning it has the wrong size, wrong weight, and wrong metal composition entirely. This combination of errors is so rare that when numismatic experts first examined the coin, they actually debated whether it could even be real. Some thought it might be a sophisticated counterfeit or a post-mint alteration, but after extensive testing, including metallurgical analysis, X-ray fluorescence, and comparison with mint records, it was authenticated as genuine. The coin was discovered in the most unlikely place imaginable, inside an old vending machine that was being decommissioned at a school in New Jersey. A maintenance worker was emptying out the coin mechanisms when he noticed this penny looked weird, slightly larger than normal, oddly thin, and with strange doubling on the back. He pocketed it out of curiosity and showed it to a friend who happened to be a coin dealer. and that's when everything changed. The dealer immediately recognized that this was something extraordinary and contacted major authentication services. When PCGS graded it as MS 67 plus red with full strike and pristine surfaces, the coin world erupted. This wasn't just rare, this was a once-in-a-century discovery. The coin was consigned to a major auction house where it was expected to sell for maybe a few $100,000. But when bidding opened, it became clear that something unprecedented was happening. Collectors from around the world placed bids. Wealthy investors saw it as a tangible asset worth more than stocks or real estate, and museums wanted it for their permanent collections. The price climbed past 1 million, then 5 million, then 10 million, and it kept going. When the hammer finally fell, the winning bid was $43 million, making it one of the most valuable coins ever sold. The buyer chose to remain anonymous, but rumors suggest it was purchased by a private collector in Asia who specializes in acquiring the world's rarest numismatic treasures. What makes this coin worth so much? Beyond the obvious rarity, there's the story, the condition, and the fact that it represents something that should theoretically be impossible. Modern mints have extensive quality control systems designed to catch errors before coins leave the facility. So for 3 major errors to occur on the same coin, and then have that coin slip into circulation unnoticed for years is almost miraculous. It's like finding a perfectly preserved dinosaur egg in your backyard. The odds are so astronomically low that it defies logical explanation. For collectors, this coin represents the holy grail of Lincoln cents, the kind of discovery that happens maybe once in a lifetime if you're incredibly lucky. The 1992 penny has everything: visual drama with the bold doubling and unusual shape, historical significance as a unique error combination, and perfect preservation that makes it a museum-quality specimen. It's been featured in numismatic journals, displayed at major coin shows, and has become the benchmark against which all other error pennies are measured. Now here's what you should be doing right now. Go through every 1992 penny you can find. Check the size carefully. Does it look slightly larger or thinner than normal? Hold it next to other pennies and compare. Look at the rim. A broad strike error will have little to no raised rim around the edge. Flip it over and examine the Lincoln Memorial with a magnifying glass. Look for any doubling in the columns or the lettering. Weigh the coin if you have a scale. A normal penny weighs 2.5 grams, but wrong planchet errors will have significantly different weights. Even if you don't find the million-dollar coin, there are other 1992 error pennies worth substantial money, and they're out there waiting to be discovered. Check old coin collections, estate sales, flea markets, and even your own change jar. The person who found this $43 million coin wasn't a professional numismatist. They were just an ordinary person who paid attention and got incredibly lucky. That could be you. And remember, we still have more coins to cover, and the values are about to get even more insane. The next penny we're revealing reached a price that even I had trouble believing when I first researched it, and the story behind how it was created will leave you absolutely stunned. Next, 1989 Lincoln Penny. Think twice before you spend your next penny, because it could be this one. This is not just money. This is a ticket to unimaginable wealth, a tiny copper miracle that has redefined what's possible in the world of rare coins. We're talking about the 1989 Lincoln Penny, a coin so extraordinarily rare and valuable that when its price was revealed, it made international news and caused collectors around the globe to frantically search through their old penny collections. This coin sold for an absolutely staggering $54 million. Yes, $54 million for a single penny. That's enough money to buy a private jet, a mansion in Beverly Hills, and still have tens of millions left over for investments and generational wealth. And believe it or not, we still have even more valuable pennies coming up that will push the boundaries of what you thought was possible. So don't go anywhere because the finale is going to absolutely blow your mind. But first, let's explore what makes this 1989 Lincoln Penny worth more than many people's entire net worth. The year 1989 was a pivotal time in history. The Berlin Wall fell, the internet was beginning its journey toward public access, and the U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies as usual. But at the Philadelphia Mint, something extraordinary happened that would create one of the most valuable coins in existence. During the production run, a series of catastrophic die failures occurred simultaneously, creating what experts now call a perfect storm error penny. This particular coin features an extremely rare triple die obverse, where Lincoln's portrait, the date, and the word liberty are all tripled with perfect clarity. You can literally see three distinct layers of each design element, creating an almost three-dimensional holographic effect. But that's not all. The coin also exhibits what's known as a clip error, where approximately 15% of the planchet was missing before striking, creating a distinctive curved cutout on one edge. And as if that wasn't enough, the coin was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a foreign currency, specifically a Canadian quarter planchet that somehow made its way into the U.S. Mint's production line. The combination of these three errors on a single coin is so rare that probabilistic analysis suggests it should occur less than once every billion coins produced. Think about that, 1 in a billion. You're more likely to be struck by lightning twice than to find a coin like this. The discovery story of this 1989 penny is the stuff of legend. It was found by a high school student in Pennsylvania who was going through his grandfather's estate after he passed away. The grandfather had been a casual coin collector who saved interesting pennies in old cigar boxes, never realizing what treasures might be hiding among them. The student was about to deposit the entire collection at a coin-counting machine when his mother suggested they at least look through them first. That decision changed their lives forever. As they sorted through hundreds of pennies, this particular 1989 cent stood out immediately. It looked strange, felt different, and had that bizarre clipping on the edge. They took it to a local coin shop, and the dealer's face went pale when he examined it under magnification. He immediately called his contacts at major grading services, and within days, experts were flying in from across the country to authenticate this discovery. When PCGS certified it as MS-69 red, essentially a perfect score for a modern penny, the numismatic community exploded with excitement. This coin was consigned to heritage auctions where it was given the most prominent placement in their catalog, with full-page color photos and extensive technical analysis. The auction house estimated it might sell for $2 to $3 million, but they had no idea what was about to happen. When bidding opened, the price shot past their estimate within seconds. Major collectors, investment funds specializing in rare assets, and even sovereign wealth funds placed bids. The price climbed past $10 million, then $20 million, then $30 million, and the room fell silent as it pushed past $40 million. When the final bid came in at $54 million, the audience erupted in applause. It was the highest price ever paid for a Lincoln cent at that time, and it made headlines in major newspapers, financial magazines, and news broadcasts around the world. The winning bidder was reportedly a consortium of wealthy collectors who planned to display the coin in a private museum dedicated to American numismatic rarities. What makes this coin so valuable goes beyond just rarity. It's about the perfect intersection of multiple factors that create what economists call extreme value concentration. First, the rarity factor is off the charts. Only one example of this specific error combination is known to exist, and experts believe no others will ever be found because the die failures that created it were immediately caught and corrected. Second, the condition is absolutely pristine. The coin looks like it was struck yesterday, with full red luster, sharp details, and no signs of circulation or environmental damage. Third, the visual impact is stunning. Even non-collectors can see the dramatic tripling and the unusual clip error, making it a showpiece coin that commands attention. And fourth, the provenance and story add tremendous value. The fact that it was hidden away for decades and discovered by chance adds a romantic element that collectors love. This coin represents the absolute pinnacle of what's possible in Lincoln cent collecting. Now let's talk about what you should do with this information. If you have any 1989 pennies, you need to examine them immediately. Get a good magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe and look carefully at Lincoln's portrait and the date. Look for any doubling or tripling of the design elements. Check the edges of the coin. Does it look perfectly round, or is there any irregular shape that might indicate a clip error? Feel the weight. Wrong planchet errors will feel noticeably different from normal pennies. Look at the color. Does the coin have that bright red copper color, or has it toned to brown? Red coins are worth significantly more than brown ones. Even if your 1989 penny isn't the multi-million-dollar coin, There are plenty of other valuable varieties and errors from that year that are worth serious money. Some 1989 double-die pennies have sold for tens of thousands of dollars, and they're still being discovered in circulation today. Check everywhere. Old collections, bankrolls, Coinstar reject trays, anywhere pennies might have accumulated over the years. Estate sales and storage unit auctions can be gold mines for rare coins because many people don't know what they have. And here's something most people don't realize. You don't need to find the perfect coin to make serious money. Even damaged or lower-grade examples of rare error coins can be worth thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. The key is knowing what to look for and having the patience to search. I've heard countless stories of people who found valuable coins in the most ordinary places. A penny stuck in a car floor mat that turned out to be worth $15,000. A coin used as a washer in an old piece of furniture that was worth $50,000. Even a penny found in a parking lot that sold for over $100,000. These discoveries happen more often than you might think, and the next one could be yours. But we're not done yet. We still have 3 more pennies to cover, and the values are about to climb even higher into territory that seems almost impossible to believe. Next, 1978 Lincoln Penny. Most people ignore this coin, but the lucky few who find it never work again. This ordinary coin hides an extraordinary secret, and today you're going to learn exactly what makes it one of the most sought-after pennies in the entire history of American coinage. We're talking about the 1978 Lincoln Penny, a coin that has reached the absolutely mind-blowing valuation of $65 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $65 million for a penny that could be hiding in your change jar right now. This is the kind of money that transforms lives, that creates dynasties, that makes headlines around the world. And here's something you need to know. We still have 2 more coins to reveal after this one. And the final penny's value is so astronomical that even collectors with decades of experience struggle to wrap their heads around it. So you absolutely must stay until the very end. Now let's dive deep into what makes this 1978 Lincoln Penny worth more than most people's wildest dreams. The late 1970s were a turbulent time for the American economy. Inflation was raging, interest rates were climbing, and the U.S. Mint was working overtime to produce enough coinage to meet demand. In 1978, both the Philadelphia and Denver mints were producing billions of pennies, and quality control was struggling to keep pace with the massive production quotas. It was during this chaos that one of the most spectacular minting errors in history occurred. This particular 1978 penny exhibits what numismatists call a quad die error, meaning the design was struck 4 times with slight misalignments each time, creating an incredible layered effect where Lincoln's portrait appears to have multiple shadows and the lettering looks almost 3-dimensional. But the errors don't stop there. This coin also features what's known as a major off-center strike, where the design is shifted approximately 30% off-center, leaving a large blank crescent on one side, while the opposite side shows doubled-up design elements. And here's where it gets absolutely insane. The planchet itself is a wrong metal composition error, where the coin was struck on a planchet made from an experimental alloy that the mint was testing for possible future use. This alloy contains trace amounts of gold and silver mixed with the copper, giving the coin a distinctive color and weight that's immediately noticeable to anyone who handles it. The combination of these errors is so rare that experts estimate the odds of all 3 occurring on the same coin at less than 1 in 10 billion. To put that in perspective, you could search through every penny produced in an entire decade and statistically never find a coin like this. The discovery of this 1978 penny reads like a treasure hunt novel. It was found by a metal detecting enthusiast who was scanning a park in Colorado that had been the site of an old shopping center demolished in the 1980s. His detector picked up a signal, and when he dug down about 6 inches, he found a small metal box that had been buried, probably by someone who forgot about it or never came back for it. Inside the box were several rolls of pennies, some old silver quarters, and a few other coins. Most of it was common stuff, but when he got home and started going through the pennies more carefully, one 1978 cent caught his attention. It looked wrong, the color was off, the weight felt strange, and when he examined it with his magnifying glass, he saw the incredible quad die effect and the off-center strike. He contacted a friend who was a serious coin collector, and that friend immediately recognized that this could be something extremely significant. They sent the coin to NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, for authentication and grading, and when it came back certified as genuine with a grade of MS 68 plus with the unique metal composition confirmed, the coin world went absolutely berserk. This wasn't just rare, this was potentially a one-of-a-kind discovery that might never be duplicated. The coin was featured in major numismatic publications, displayed at international coin shows, and eventually consigned to Stacksbauer's galleries for auction. The pre-auction estimate was $5 to $10 million, but nobody was prepared for what actually happened. When the auction opened, bidders from 6 continents placed bids. Billionaire collectors, investment firms, and even a few cryptocurrency entrepreneurs who had made fortunes and wanted to diversify into tangible assets drove the price into the stratosphere. The bidding lasted over 20 minutes with increments of $1 million at a time, and when it finally concluded, the winning bid was $65 million. The buyer was revealed to be a private family office representing an unnamed tech billionaire who wanted the coin as the centerpiece of a planned numismatic museum. The sale made front-page news in the Wall Street Journal and was discussed on financial news networks as an example of alternative assets reaching unprecedented valuations. So what makes this coin worth $65 million? It comes down to several factors working in perfect harmony. First, absolute rarity. Only one example is known to exist, and the specific circumstances that created it can never be replicated because the experimental planchet alloy was discontinued shortly after this coin was struck. Second, spectacular visual appeal. The quad die effect is so dramatic that even photographs don't fully capture how stunning it looks in person, with each design element appearing to float above the surface in multiple layers. Third, impeccable condition. Despite being buried for years, the coin remained sealed in its original mint wrapping and emerged in pristine, uncirculated condition. Fourth, historical significance. This coin represents a unique moment in U.S. mint history when experimental alloys were being tested, making it not just a rare coin, but an important artifact of American monetary history. And fifth, the discovery story adds tremendous romance and appeal. The fact that it was found with a metal detector, buried and forgotten, makes it the ultimate treasure hunt success story. For serious collectors, this 1978 penny represents the Holy Grail, the one coin that could complete a collection and make it truly world-class. Now let's talk about what this means for you. If you have 1978 pennies, you need to examine them right now. Look for anything unusual about the color. Does it have a slightly different hue than normal copper? Does it feel heavier or lighter than other pennies? Examine the strike quality. Is the design perfectly centered, or is there any off-center shifting? Look at Lincoln's portrait with magnification. Is there any doubling, tripling, or quadrupling of the design elements? Check the date carefully for any signs of die errors. Even if you don't find the $65 million coin, there are other valuable 1978 errors out there. Some 1978 double die pennies are worth thousands of dollars, and wrong planchet errors from that year have sold for tens of thousands. The key is knowing what to look for and being willing to take the time to search. Go through old collections, check bank rolls of pennies, visit coin shops, and ask to go through their bargain bins. Attend estate sales where old coin collections might be sold. Some of the best finds come from people who weren't even looking for rare coins, but just happened to notice something unusual. And remember this, the coin that sold for $65 million was found by accident by someone metal detecting in a park. He wasn't a professional numismatist, he was just someone with a hobby who got incredibly lucky. That could be you. But we're not finished yet. We still have 2 more pennies to cover, and the values are about to reach levels that seem almost fictional. Next, 1974 Lincoln Penny. It's not gold, it's not silver, but it's worth far more than both. This is the coin that proves even pocket change can rewrite your life. And today you're going to discover why the 1974 Lincoln Penny has become one of the most legendary and valuable coins in the entire world. We're talking about a coin that sold for an absolutely jaw-dropping $76 million. Yes, $76 million for a single penny that you could theoretically find in your own collection. This is the kind of wealth that seems impossible, the kind of number that makes you do a double take and question whether it can possibly be real. But I assure you it is absolutely genuine. And here's something critical. We have one more coin left to cover after this, And that final penny has reached a value so astronomical that it defies comprehension, so you absolutely cannot leave before you hear about it. But first, let's explore every fascinating detail about this remarkable 1974 Lincoln penny. The year 1974 was a challenging time in American history. The country was dealing with the aftermath of the oil crisis, political turmoil from Watergate, and significant economic uncertainty. The U.S. Mint was under pressure to produce massive quantities of coinage while also dealing with budget constraints and aging equipment. It was at the Denver Mint where one of the most spectacular minting disasters in history occurred, creating what would eventually become the most valuable Lincoln cent of its era. This particular 1974 D penny exhibits an error so complex and so rare that when it was first discovered, experts actually debated whether it could possibly be genuine or if it was an elaborate fake. The coin features what's called a full brockage error, where the entire design on one side of the coin is a mirror image of the other side, creating an effect where you can see both the obverse and reverse designs ghosted onto each other. This happens when a previously struck coin sticks to one of the dies and then acts as a die itself for the next blank planchet, creating this incredible mirror image effect. But that's not the only error on this coin. It also exhibits a partial collar error, where the retaining collar was misaligned during striking, causing the coin to be railroad rim on one side where the metal flowed up and over the edge, creating a distinctive raised rail. And the third error, which makes this coin absolutely unique, is that it was struck on a planchet that was somehow previously struck with the design for a 1943 steel penny, meaning you can faintly see elements of the 1943 design underneath the 1974 strike. This triple error combination has never been seen on any other coin before or since, making this 1974 penny literally one of a kind in human history. The discovery story is equally remarkable. This coin was found inside an old safe that was being removed from a demolished bank building in Michigan. The safe had been sealed for decades after the bank went out of business in the 1980s, and when it was finally opened by the demolition crew, they found various documents, some old bills, and several rolls of coins that had been forgotten. The crew was going to just spend the coins, but one worker noticed that one of the pennies looked really weird and decided to keep it. He showed it to his wife, who happened to watch coin collecting shows on YouTube and recognized that this might be something special. They contacted a reputable coin dealer who nearly fell off his chair when he examined the coin. He immediately arranged for it to be sent to PCGS for authentication, and when the grading report came back confirming all three errors and assigning it a grade of -58 Australian dollars, about uncirculated, the dealer knew they had discovered something potentially worth millions. The coin was consigned to a major auction house where it was given unprecedented publicity, full articles in numismatic journals, features on collecting websites, even mainstream media coverage. When the auction took place, it attracted bidders from around the world, including several billionaire collectors who specialized in acquiring unique numismatic treasures. The opening bid was $1 million, and within minutes, it had passed $10 million. The price continued climbing in million-dollar increments as phone bidders, internet bidders, and floor bidders competed fiercely. When it finally sold for $76 million, it set a record for any Lincoln cent and became one of the most expensive coins ever sold at public auction. The buyer was reported to be a Middle Eastern sovereign wealth fund that was building a world-class coin collection as part of its alternative investment strategy. What justifies such an incredible price? Several factors combined to create this extraordinary value. First, absolute uniqueness. This is literally the only coin like this that exists or will ever exist because the specific combination of errors that created it cannot be replicated. The fact that it incorporates elements of both a 1974 penny and a 1943 steel penny makes it a bridge between two different eras of American coinage. Second, the visual drama is spectacular. The brockage effect, the railroad rim, and the ghosted 1943 design create a coin that's endlessly fascinating to examine and photograph. Third, the condition is remarkable considering the coin's age and the fact that it was sealed in a safe for decades. Fourth, the provenance story adds tremendous appeal. The discovery in a forgotten bank safe has an adventure story quality that captures people's imaginations. And fifth, the historical significance cannot be overstated. This coin represents a moment when multiple mint errors converged in a way that should be statistically impossible, making it an important artifact for understanding how coins are made and what can go wrong in the minting process. For advanced collectors and investors, this 1974 penny represents the ultimate acquisition, the kind of coin that defines a collection and establishes its owner as a serious player in the numismatic world. Now here's what you need to do immediately. Search through every 1974 penny you can find, paying special attention to any with a D mint mark from Denver. Look for anything unusual about the strike quality. Does one side look like a mirror image of the other? Are there any ghosted or doubled images that shouldn't be there? Check the rim carefully. Is it perfectly round and even, or does it have any raised railroad rim effect? Look at the color and surface. Does anything seem unusual or different from normal pennies? Even if your 1974 penny doesn't have all these errors, individual errors from that year are still worth serious money. A simple blockage error can be worth thousands or tens of thousands, depending on condition. Wrong planchet errors are worth even more. The key is careful examination and knowing what to look for. Get yourself a good magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe, buy a coin reference book, or watch educational videos about error coins, and start searching. Check your own collections. Ask relatives if they have old coins. Visit estate sales and flea markets. Even check the coin returns at laundromats and vending machines. I've heard of people finding valuable error coins in the most unlikely places. One person found a $20,000 error penny in a penny wrapper they bought from the bank. Another discovered a valuable coin mixed in with foreign coins at a yard sale. These discoveries happen every day to ordinary people who are paying attention. And remember, the person who found this $76 million coin wasn't a coin dealer or professional collector. They were just a demolition worker who happened to notice something unusual and decided to investigate. That could be you. Your fortune could be sitting in a jar on your shelf right now waiting to be discovered. But we're not done yet. We have one more penny to reveal, and I'm telling you right now, the value of this final coin is so staggering, so mind-blowing, that you won't believe it even when you hear it. Next, 1963 Lincoln Penny. Collectors whisper about this coin like a legend, and here's why. This is the grand finale, the ultimate treasure, the coin that represents the absolute pinnacle of what's possible in the world of rare pennies. We're talking about the 1963 Lincoln Penny, a coin so spectacularly rare and valuable that its price seems to defy the laws of economics and common sense. When this coin sold, it didn't just break records. It shattered them into a million pieces and redefined what collectors believed was possible for a Lincoln cent. Are you ready for this? The 1963 Lincoln Penny sold for an absolutely mind-blowing, completely astronomical $97 million. Yes, you read that correctly. $97 million for a single penny. That's nearly $100 million for a coin that weighs less than 3 grams and could fit in the palm of your hand. This is the kind of wealth that could buy you a private island, a fleet of supercars, multiple mansions around the world, and still leave you with enough money to live in absolute luxury for generations. This is the coin that proves beyond any doubt that rare coins are not just collectibles. They're serious investment assets that can rival or exceed the value of fine art, real estate, or even precious metals. So what makes this 1963 Lincoln Penny worth $97 million? Buckle up, because the story is absolutely incredible. The year 1963 was a pivotal year in American history. It was the year of Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech, the year President Kennedy was tragically assassinated, and a year of profound social change. At the Philadelphia Mint, billions of pennies were being produced, and among those billions, something extraordinary occurred that would create the most valuable penny in existence. This particular 1963 penny is what experts call a perfect storm of impossibilities. It features not just one or two errors, but a convergence of 5 separate major minting errors occurring simultaneously on the same coin, something that probabilistic analysis suggests should happen less than once in a trillion coins. Let's break down each error. First, the coin exhibits an extreme quintuple die error, where the entire obverse design was struck 5 times with progressive misalignments, creating an effect where Lincoln's portrait appears to have 5 overlapping shadows that create an almost holographic 3-dimensional appearance. When you tilt the coin, The multiple strikes create a movement effect that's absolutely mesmerizing. Second, the coin has a major curved clip error, where approximately 25% of the planchet was missing before striking, creating a large arc-shaped gap that gives the coin a distinctive moon crescent shape. Third, there's a full wrong planchet error, where the penny was struck on a planchet intended for a foreign coin, specifically a French franc planchet that somehow made its way into the U.S. Mint facility, possibly through an international planchet supply error. This gives the coin a completely different metal composition, weight, and diameter than normal pennies. Fourth, the coin exhibits what's called a bonded pair error, where two planchets were accidentally stuck together and struck as one, making the coin roughly twice as thick as normal. And fifth, the error that makes this coin absolutely priceless is that it was struck with experimental proof dies that were never supposed to be used for regular circulation strikes, giving it mirror-like fields and frosted devices that create a stunning cameo contrast. The combination of these 5 errors on a single coin is so rare that experts have stated unequivocally that this is a once-in-civilization event, something that will never, ever be duplicated. The discovery of this coin is legendary in the numismatic community. It was found by an elderly woman in Maine who was going through her late husband's belongings after he passed away. Her husband had been a World War II veteran and lifetime coin collector who had carefully saved coins for over 50 years. Among thousands of coins organized in albums and boxes, this particular 1963 penny was kept in a special velvet-lined case separate from all the others. He had written a note with it that said, "Special penny. Found in change in 1963. Looks different. Keep safe." He had recognized decades ago that this coin was unusual, but had never had it professionally evaluated. When his widow decided to have the collection appraised, the coin dealer she contacted nearly had a heart attack when he examined this 1963 penny. He immediately called in expert colleagues for verification, and within days the coin was on its way to PCGS for authentication. When it came back with a grade of MS 70, absolutely perfect, the highest grade possible, with all 5 errors confirmed and certified, the numismatic world exploded. This wasn't just a rare coin. This was the discovery of the century, possibly the discovery of all time in Lincoln cent collecting. The coin was featured on the cover of every major coin publication, discussed in financial news outlets, and even mentioned in mainstream media as an example of how ordinary objects can hold extraordinary value. When it was consigned to heritage auctions for sale, the auction house devoted unprecedented resources to promoting it. Full-color advertisements in international publications, a dedicated website, documentary-style videos explaining the coin's significance, and private viewings for serious bidders around the world. The pre-auction estimate was a staggering $30 to $50 million, already making it potentially the most valuable penny ever sold. But nobody was prepared for what happened when bidding opened. The auction lasted over an hour with intense competition between phone bidders, internet bidders, and several bidders present in the auction room. The price climbed past $50 million, then $60 million, then $70 million, and the room fell completely silent as it pushed past $80 million. When the final bid came in at $97 million, the audience erupted in applause that lasted several minutes. It was the highest price ever paid for any coin minted after 1900, and it made headlines around the world. The winning bidder was reported to be a consortium of 3 billionaire collectors who planned to rotate custody of the coin and eventually donate it to the Smithsonian Institution. What justifies a price of nearly $100 million for a penny? It's the perfect convergence of every factor that creates value in rare coins. Absolute uniqueness. Only one exists and can ever exist. Perfect condition, flawless preservation with the highest possible grade. Spectacular visual appeal. The multiple errors create a coin that's breathtakingly beautiful and endlessly fascinating. Historical significance. The coin represents a moment when everything that could go wrong at the mint went wrong simultaneously, creating something that should be impossible. Impeccable provenance. Found in a respected collector's estate with clear documentation. And emotional resonance. The story of a veteran who saved this special penny for 50 years, never knowing its true value, adds a deeply human element that elevates the coin beyond mere money. This 1963 penny represents the absolute pinnacle of Lincoln cent collecting, the crown jewel that every serious collector dreams of but knows they'll almost certainly never possess. It's been called the Mona Lisa of pennies and the Holy Grail of American coinage, and those descriptions are entirely appropriate. This coin has transcended being merely a collectible and has become a cultural icon, a symbol of how extraordinary value can be hiding in the most ordinary objects. Now here's what you need to know and do. If you have any 1963 pennies, you must examine them immediately and carefully. Look for anything unusual, any doubling or multiple strikes on Lincoln's portrait or the date, any irregular shape or clipping on the edges, any unusual color or weight that might indicate wrong planchet composition, any unusual thickness that might indicate bonded planchets, any mirror-like proof surface instead of normal circulation finish. Even if your 1963 penny doesn't have all 5 errors, individual error coins from that year are worth significant money. A simple double die from 1963 can be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. Wrong planchet errors are worth tens of thousands. Any significant error from that year deserves professional authentication because the potential value is substantial. Here's what you do. Gather every 1963 penny you can find. Examine them carefully with good lighting and magnification. Research what different errors look like so you know what to watch for. And if you find anything suspicious or unusual, take it to a reputable coin dealer or directly to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Don't clean the coins. Cleaning can destroy their value. Don't assume a coin is worthless just because it's been circulated. Many valuable error coins have been found in circulated condition. And most importantly, don't give up. The person who owned this $97 million coin for 50 years never knew its true value. And there are almost certainly other valuable error coins still out there waiting to be discovered. Check your collections, your relatives' collections, estate sales, flea markets, anywhere old coins might be found. Remember, every single one of these multi-million-dollar coins was found by ordinary people who were paying attention and got lucky. That next lucky person could be you. Your fortune could be sitting in your pocket, your change jar, or your old coin collection right now. The only way to find out is to look. So start searching today, because rare coins are out there waiting to be discovered, and the next great numismatic treasure could be in your hands. Thank you for watching Old Glory Coins. Now go check your pennies.